his own. We don't even have the 35 points for a win in play anymore. It's just 25 today, and so that's going to make things even more important for those who are not Max Benneker in Mouse to do well. Moritz Lerner started well by qualifying up towards the front there, but they need Kasdorp and Dambeats, try to say their name at the same time, Kasdorp and Dambeats to do well too as they weave their way towards the bus stop chicane. Ready for Group B. It's the Team Championship second chance here in ESL R1. And the first race at Spa about to get underway. Max Benneker in control of the field again. And it is Mau's teammate Moritz Lerner immediately takes to the outside to try and take some positions away into turn one. Benneker defends from the likes of Kevin Ellis Jr. on the way into turn one as they try and make their way through. Oh, it's 4 wide and Moritz Lerner's in the gravel. He was pushed off there by Kaiki Oliveira, who's going backwards here. Kevin Ellis Jr. and Johan Arf are going to get hooked up here, and they're going to possibly get onto the back of Max Benneker. On the way up the hill, through they go, over the top at Radion. There's Robbie Stapleford as well. He'll have the help of Kaiki Oliveira and Ibrahim Khan, who's next up. But look at Kevin Ellis Jr. Huge speed on the way up towards Lecombe. He's going to get to the outside. Is he going to get through? He's late on the brakes. He's into the lead in race one.
I said keep your eyes peeled on Big Kev, and for good reason. He now leads here at Spa-Francorchamps, and Robbie Stapleford didn't do too badly either. He leads the BS Plus competition outfit, 4th place for him, with Oliveira getting stumbled right at the start coming out of turn one. Unfortunately, an untidy exit after going onto the gravel. He was also joined by Moritz Lerner, who after starting as high as he did has now dropped to 11th. Drama at the get-go, but ART in a very strong position with Kevin Ellis Jr. and Johan Arf in the top 3.
Through Pouhon they go for the first time. It's Kevin Ellis Jr. followed by Max Benneker at the very front. Ibrahim Khan just getting hooked up to the back of his teammates here for BS competition. They've moved forward. Maus, though, have moved backwards. Look at them in 9th, 10th and 11th.
Yeah, truly amazing scenes. Jamie Fluke certainly not out of it either. He could add yet another ART into the top 6. Of course, it's currently 3 BS Plus competition cars all in a row. They have 3 cars in the top 6 right now, so big points going their way if they can keep this up. But Stapleford, you can bet bottom dollar, has his eyes on a bigger prize, and that is where Johan Arf is currently sat. P3, a podium for Stapleford would mean a lot. Kaiki Oliveira is still very much there and in the mix. Did not lose anywhere near the same amount of places as Moritz Lerner did. Let's take a look at that start. There you can see it. Oh, you just see the front end of Moritz Lerner's mouse car came into contact with the rear left on Kaiki Oliveira's BMW, and also at the back, I think, was that Ferris Stanley?
It was, yeah. We didn't see this, but there was 4 wide going on there, and there's absolutely not space for them at all. Ferris Stanley getting himself into trouble. Here goes Kevin Ellis Jr. around the outside. This is a replay, by the way. I'm getting excited about it the second time as well.
It was brilliant.
It was. Round the outside he went of Max Benneker just 1 lap ago, but I have a feeling history might be reversing itself just 1 lap later as we go up the hill through Radion. He's almost too close here, Max Benneker. He's barely got anywhere to go, but he's not going to try and make the move right now. He's going to wait, and he's going to continue to split apart the Apex Racing Team drivers. Johan Arf's going to be in a bit of trouble here on the way down the Kemmel Straight as well, I would argue, because Robbie Stapleford has got the help of Kaiki Oliveira if he wants it. I don't think he's going to go for it into Lecombe this time round. Thought he would, actually, but decides to wait.
Yeah, he had the slipstream. Johan Arf sacrificing it somewhat, and the gap between Johan Arf and Benneker currently sitting just below 0.5 of a second. So the top 2 currently careering away in their own small pocket, I would say. Further back then, Johan Arf with Stapleford just in behind. Stapleford now 1.1 away from Kevin Ellis Jr. right at the top of the shop. But the BS Plus competition team still sat in a 3-car gathering in that top 6 and in control, I must say. Good race so far for the likes of Ibrahim Khan, who is just settling down. He doesn't need to really move a muscle here. His duty, I think, is to protect the BS Plus competition outfit, maintain the status quo of the 3 cars being as high as they are, to keep ART in behind, because whilst they have 2 cars up at the top, at least they don't have the other 2 up there as well.
Yeah, it's interesting here. I'm not sure, we'll do some calculations in a few moments' time as to who might be where, but this is a very fluid situation in terms of who might be on top. At the end of this, Max Benneker's off through the purple fret. That was Beneke going very wide, and well, he needs to be careful on that front. If he gets too many, then he will be in trouble with the track limits, and so let's just keep it within the white lines and it'll be okay. Oh dear, teammates going side by side, Robbie Stapleford and Kaki Oliveira. Surely that was coordinated, but it wasn't coordinated very well, if it was at all. There goes Kaki Oliveira, who is the faster driver on paper, but what a weird place to exchange positions.
Yeah, that's cost them a little bit of time as well.
Loads.
I mean, I think they were just trying to obviously make the swap during the course of where Beneke might have made the error. Of course, Oliveira goes without saying, I believe, obviously, faster driver than Stapleford here in this instance. He is, of course, a former winner at this track, so obviously it could be the case that Florian Haspar is saying, well, let's release Kaki, get Kaki out there, drive the pace, try and close up to the back of Johan Harth, because we're sick and tired of seeing the zebra-painted cars sat in conjunction 4th, 5th and 6th, but now they're all rushing up through towards Laycombe this time. Beneke once again riding that rear spoiler of Kevin Ellis Jr.'s Mercedes-AMG GT3, again siding on the line of patience, and probably for good reason given the fact we're only on lap 3 of 7.
Just peeked round the corner as if to remind himself what Laycombe looked like, and then took back into line again and stayed in second place.
Just wanted to see the scenery.
Exactly, yeah. Who can blame him? So Kaki Oliveira stays ahead of Robbie Stapleford this time, and now they begin to try and chase this man who we're on board with now, Johan Harth, who was quite ill yesterday. I was chatting to him earlier on. Still sounds terrible, but he says he's feeling better, and he is in third place and clearly driving well as well. Not that he was driving badly yesterday, didn't allow it to affect him too much, but he's back on the podium right now. Here's a wonderful drone shot of that Mercedes. He's playing a very important part in Apex Racing Team's standing in this current group. It's delivering so far everything we dreamed it would. All three teams inside the top 4, all looking pretty competitive.
Yeah, running aboard here with Johan Harth, the 26-year-old from France. First ESL R1 race win came at Road Atlanta. Since then, he's never looked back. Obviously, the Apex Racing team have such a loyal string of drivers, Kevin Ellis Jr. being one of them, who came in from the academy and has since, obviously, become part of the furniture here at ART. And, in fact, joining their team back in 2017 as a 19-year-old, and then coming through the academy into their main roster. Doesn't he represent them well indeed, alongside the likes of Jamie Fluke, who actually joined us as a guest commentator back at the full season major in Sweden last year, and gave us some expertise as to what was going on out on track. And again, another driver who has been successful here in this series, got quite emotional after his very own successes at Road Atlanta in the past. Professional sim racer for ART, alongside that as a driver coach in 2020. That was the reason he was acquired. And again, featuring here in what could be an amazing result here for Apex Racing Team should Kevin Ellis Jr. keep this up. But Max Beneke again generating that slipstream once more as we pan across up Kemmel once more with this fantastic drone shot here as the BMW M4 GT3 once again just releases the accelerator, back on the brakes coming through Laycombe, and still Johan Harth watching on. There's the trophy. That's what they're fighting for, Ewan. It's a nice piece of gold there.
And that little triangle, of course, is where they put their key when they've won, whoever wins, of course. And they put the middle part in, then they take the outer bit out and put it on the big totem that we saw on Thursday on the broadcast, and we went and visited the day before. It's absolutely massive, probably about the size of 2 of me. And although that's not that, thanks for that. And as we were saying, we're right down in the bottom right because we are the last one to declare our result. We've got to make sure we're quickly done in time for the closing ceremony tomorrow evening. Yeah. So that's why we're on there just that little bit earlier. But at the moment, these teams are the ones trying to fight their way to even being with a chance at the moment of achieving that. Of course, they're not yet in the final. They've needed a second chance to get there, and it's 3 big teams at that. The Apex Racing Team, Mals and BS Competition, all searching for that position. We've got a waiting game here at Spa with 3 laps to go.
We definitely do. Of course, Kevin Ellis Jr. in the online rounds didn't have necessarily a great time at Spa. Actually, in his only efforts, actually got knocked out in the quarter-final phase. Finished 11th during that, but out in front and looking as stone-faced as ever. Just staying very relaxed and chilled, heading in the final portions of lap 4. Out in front, laps. He doesn't want to let the occasion get to him. This is a very important sequence of 4 races that these drivers have in front of them, and he can't afford to let the Spa Demons back in because, of course, we are going back there later on this evening. But as they head in towards turn 1 again, Max Benneker very deep on the brakes. Actually had to just break away from the back of the Mercedes-AMG GT3 in order not to go into the back of Kevin Ellis Jr. But no issues as it stands. Benneker still holds the fastest lap.
He does for now. Probably helped by the fact that Kevin Ellis Jr. is towing him around. Let's see if he decides to go for the lead finally now. He's getting so close every time, and he must know that this is going to be the chance on the very final lap, and so maybe that is why he's waiting. We've seen these two fighting for the win at Spa before this week, as we've got side by side, but further back, by the way, Jamie Fluke trying to go down the inside of Ibrahim Khan. Apex Racing Team looking to move on forwards here, as Christopher Dambitz and Jimmy Antunes also going wheel to wheel on the way in towards Lecom. So those minor places, those 1 or 2 points here and there, also being fought over very hard.
Yeah, it looks like Khan might have defended as well and made sure that Fluke stayed behind, as we now ride on board with Max Benneker. You can see him on the right-hand side still as pensive as ever. He knows when the time is right. He has done this so many times. Down through Pouhon he will go, and then traipse towards the Lafanier chicane. Lap 5 of 7, the midway point through lap 5 of 7. And well and truly beyond the midway point in this race too. Johan Harth as well, still not out of it. It's not out of the question that ART can go 1 and 2 here, but they're going to need some excellence here from Johan Harth. But the Frenchman has cleared Kaiki Oliveira to a certain extent, and Robbie Stapleford. And I'd argue that this does open the door for Jamie Fluke, because with those 3 BS Plus competition cars detaching, Ibrahim Khan is slowly detaching from Stapleford. That's going to leave him exposed to Jamie Fluke in behind.
Certainly is. We're seeing a front 3 right now get themselves away. Just wonder how this is going to play out. Surely Max Benneker's not just going to be allowed to stay second until the final lap here by the Apex Racing Team. Oh, he's getting closer into that bus stop as well. Maybe he's sizing up that opportunity, ready for the final lap here too. On board we go with Johan Harth now. Out of the final corner, onto the front straight again. Benneker just taking a bit of a different line. Ellis Jr. being followed by his teammate, as you'd expect, into the first corner. Steady, that's very close in towards La Source. They all go a little bit wide on the way towards the Camel Straight. Yeah,
coming out of La Source, Max Benneker getting closer. Penultimate lap of the race in full swing now. We're coming up through towards Eau Rouge and Raidillon. Johan Harth now exercising himself a little closer towards Benneker, 3/10 away. The gaps are fairly equal between them. We've got some movements further back as well. Looks like Jamie Fluke's getting closer to Ibrahim Khan, as now we see Benneker. Will he plumb for the move this time? He does move alongside Kevin Ellis Jr. here as well. Here comes Johan Harth around the outside, coming through Lecom, looking to make an ART 1 and 2, and he's got the nose of the Mercedes in front as they come through Malmedy. Benneker will have the line, however, and muscles him off, and Harth is onto the gravel.
I'm afraid Max Benneker's going to have a case to answer there, because he didn't leave any space for Johan Harth at all, and so there will be some discussion about that, I would have thought. Kevin Ellis Jr. will now run away with this lead as well. 0.8 of a second is not an unassailable amount of time. However, it is quite large with this amount of time left in the race. Just under a lap and a half to go. Can Kevin Ellis Jr. hang on even after that big battle between Max Benneker and Johan Harth?
Well, with Johan Harth making that move, he may not have necessarily lost out too much, because what it has done, it has stretched that gap out to 0.8 of a second between Kevin Ellis Jr. and Max Benneker. If it stays like this, making the move up Kemmel is going to be easier said than done. It does mean that the win is planted firmer in the hands of Kevin Ellis Jr. and will do so further if he can increase that gap a little more. Johan Harth still remains relatively close to the back of Benneker's BMW, because it currently sits at around 0.6 of a second. So Harth is closer to Benneker than Benneker is to Ellis Jr.
Well, we know on the way in towards the bus stop, it is still possible. I don't think he's going to be close enough into Lecom, which is the real poster place to do it, if you like. But Benneker is going to have to wait for the very end of the race to do this, as we go on to the final lap. Race 1 in the last chance for the Group B teams. to get themselves into the Teams Championship final, and it started with a good ending here to the first race. Out of La Source they now go. Max Benneker is going to be too far back, surely. The action is going to be for third place, as Johan Harth loses so much time as a result of the battle with Benneker. We could see BS Competition gaining the 2 places on their own here on the way up the Eau-Rouge and riding on section. They go onto the straight. Look at Kiki Oliveira. He's very close indeed to Johan Harth here. Robbie Stapleford's going to push his teammate to the 3rd place here. There he goes. Gets to the bumper now. He's going to try and go for himself here, surely, as Harth goes round the outside through the first part. Inside for the second, and it remains side by side into Malmedy. This battle will continue further as Kiki Oliveira slides. He can't quite get the move done.
Yeah, Robbie Stapleford also can't move either because he's got his teammate sat right in front of him. Oliveira tried every which way, coming through Les Combes, switching round through Malmedy. He tried it down through Brussels, but Harth shut the door. He expertly defended, but in the process has lost even more time to Max Benneker. But Benneker only barely, just finding mere scratchings on Kevin Ellis Jr. right now. It's nearly 7:10 still. It's breaking below 7:10s to a certain degree, but no way near enough for Benneker to challenge for that elusive race lead. Ellis Jr. has driven impeccably for ART. They've got 2 cars in the top 3. This is major points for them. And also on top of that, Jamie Fluke got Ibrahim Khan.
He certainly did. But that's not over either for 6th position. There's a couple of points on the line there too. This is going to be quite close, especially between BS Competition and Apex at the end of this race. But I think it's going to go the way of Apex because of this man, Kevin Ellis Jr. Back to top form all over again. He was 7th in the full major at the end of last year. That's his best individual performance in a Drivers' Championship. That eventually means he has to do the heavy lifting for Apex as well. But that's exactly what he's done here in race 1. As he comes through to take his 3rd win of 2024 in ESL R1, Kevin Ellis Jr. delivers in race 1 of the last chance, just ahead of Max Benneker, and behind the battles were ongoing. There's Kevin Ellis Jr., elation flowing out of him. Max Benneker knows this is an opportunity missed.
It is. He had every chance, no doubt, but obviously I